I work hard each and every day. I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no I push play. I won't stop till I make a change.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to my new subscribers and also as well. I hope you guys are doing well. We're back again with another childcare video. I hope you guys are enjoying these videos because I'm actually trying to be consistent. Okay, so please make sure you're subscribing, you're liking, you're commenting, you're sharing, so at least one person can watch it, and if that video helps one person, that would make me so happy. But first of all, before we get into today's video, I just want to give my condolences to all the parents who have lost the kids during this tragedy that happened in Southampton, the stabbing that happened this week. And it's just really sad. As a mother, I can imagine how these parents are feeling. If you don't know what's happening in Southampton, please go to your own research. I'm not going to be telling you what happened, but it's just really sad of what happened. So yeah, my condolences goes to these parents who have lost their loved ones, or the children, and the ones who got injured as well. So prayers go to them all, Lord. That's all I want to say before we get into today's video. So yeah, that's done. So today's video, I just want to give you something. If you're a mom, well, if you're a parent who's expecting, or if you're a parent who has a baby who's looking, or if you're a parent who's looking to send your child into nursery, these are the things that you need to consider. So when you're doing your research, when you're going to view all these different nurseries, these are questions that you need to be asking. So without further ado, guys, let's get into it. If you see me looking down, it's just I'm looking at my phone with all the notes I've wrote down. So number one, these are the questions that you need to be asking. How do you ensure safe recruitment of staff? It's really important as a parent you ask these questions, because you need to know who's going to be looking after your children. What qualification do they have? How do you find these people? You need to be asking that and make sure you get an answer for that. That's question number one. Number two, do you offer funding for 2, 3 to 4 year olds? In England, every child now anyway, if you're a working parent, you should be getting a 2-year funding. I think you should be getting a 9 months funding. Don't quote me wrong, but do own research about that. But I know there's government funding for 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year for working parents. So also ask that question: do you offer funding for 2, 3 to 4 year olds? And yeah, so make sure you're asking them questions. Number three, my phone keep going off. Number three is, what are the ratios for staff to children? Now, right now, under 3, ratios are 1 to 3, so which means one staff member can only look after 3 children. 2-year-olds are 1 staff look after 4, and then 3 over equals 1 staff per 13 ratios. Now guys, God, if I tell you the things that I went through, every single time I was over ratio. Remember, it just says here 3 to 4, the ratio should be 1 staff per 13. I used to have 18. Sometimes I used to have over 20 children. So you need to ask that. What's the ratio like, depending on what the child you have? Because there's no point you sending your child to a setting where they do not have enough staff, they're understaffed every single time, which means they're putting your children under risk. They're also putting the staff under risk. So make sure you're knowing all this. What's the ratio like for the child that you have? I don't know what age child you have, so make sure you look for that. So once again, on the 2 ratios, 1 staff per 3 children. 2-year-olds are 1 staff per 4 children, and 3 and over equals 1 staff per 13. So if one day you walk in and there's 1 staff and there's more than 13 children, then you should say something about like that is wrong. 1 staff should not be having more than 13 children for 3 to 4 year olds. So remember that. And that also goes, I think that, let me just clarify that again. That's for England. So for Wales might be different, for Scotland might be different, and for Northern Ireland might be different. So please make sure you check with different areas that you live, which country you live in. Question number 3 is it 3? Will my child have a key person, and how many other children will they have? Like me, when I was a key person, I had how many? I had 12 children. I had 14, and then 14, and then what do you call it? 2 left. So technically, I ended up having 12. Now my colleague had 18 children. That is a lot for one person to be observing every child. I feel like that is very risky. And I remember me and my colleague used to complain about we need an extra staff in, because there's no way two people should be key worker for how many children. It just doesn't make sense. You're not going to spend a lot of time with other children. You're not going to observe these children properly, how they're meant to be. And then when it comes to, especially me, that I worked in a preschool, by the time where I had to write how many reports for the children that are going to school, it was just a lot for one person. Imagine you're writing 12 reports for children. It's just like basically analyzing everything they've done from when they were baby all the way up. It's a lot. So ask that as well. Now another question is, how do you ensure the safety of the children in your care? That is a very important question. Very important question. Like risk assessments. Are they doing risk assessment when they go, before they go out, before even children enters different rooms? Like risk assessment is important. If a staff member is taking a child outside, they need to make sure the outdoor area is safe, indoor area is safe, everything. Or even when you're about to do an activity that includes, let's say, using the scissors, have we done a risk assessment for that? All things like that, you need to be asking questions. Another question is, what activities do you provide? Ask the questions, guys. If you want to be sending your child to a certain nursery, you need to be asking all these questions. Don't just say, because it looks nice, because the staff on the day that you went to go visit, they all look happy. No, that's not the everyday thing. Like the amount of time we had to front it when parents brought kids for a visit, just because so we can have more kids. So make sure you're asking what kind of activities do you provide. Do you have water-based activities? Do you have sand? And an earlier things like sand and water is like an all year round activity that needs to be out. Do you, let's say if you're trying to send your child to a preschool, what are you trying to prepare them for school? Like, are they trying to start writing the names, recognizing letters and numbers? Is that something that you're doing? So ask that. Another one is, how do you support children's learning and development? That is very important, because it's okay for you to send your child and it's okay for them to plan funny activities, but what are they gaining from these activities that you're planning? This is why when I was working, whenever I was setting an activity, I would find what's the outcome, what are these children going to get out from the activities that I've set before them today. So the pros and cons and how you're going to improve the activities. Another one is, how do you keep parents informed of the child's progress? Very important question, guys. If you as a parent, you're not asking the nursery or your child's key worker, then you're not going to know. Always make sure you're asking. So ask them, how did they update parents? Like at the nursery where I used to work, we used to have an app, and I think it was called a Parent Zone. It's an app where we update everything from nappies to sleeps to taking moments of when they're doing activities. So things like that. Do the nursery have that? The nursery where you're trying to send the children, do they have that? Again, another one is, what types of meals and snacks do you provide? Very important question, because you don't want to send your child to a nursery and you find out that they don't eat anything. Are you providing morning snacks, afternoon snacks? What's the menus for for dinner and if they do have tea? Can I see it? So ask them if you can see, and see if they're providing a healthy diet, a mixture of healthy and a bit of fat in there as well. And then another one is, how do you manage behavior? How do you manage children's behavior? Because I've been to a nursery where children are behaving like clowns. Why? Because the staff members have allowed it to happen. They're not teaching them, they're not teaching them right and wrong. It's really important if a nursery is taking care of a child, they need to know, they need to have boundaries, they need to have the techniques on how to deal with children, very, not tough children, but children that find it hard to understand simple instructions, and especially the ones that they're already showing bad behavior already. How are you dealing with these children? What steps are you taking to help the children to get better? Because it's okay for them to misbehave, but what are you doing? What are you telling parents to do at home as the support? Like, how are parents and staff members working together? And then obviously the last questions, what your fees include. You know, because every nursery is different, every nursery sets the fees different and includes different things. Like where I used to work, the fee was quite expensive. I think it was 70 something, I think 72 pounds per day, and that included obviously dinner, included snacks, breakfast, included nappies for babies, including milk. But the fact, oh God, the fact that a lot of parents did not know that, especially the parents that had babies. The weird thing that my nurse did not tell a lot of parents was that he actually included milk as well. So a lot of time these parents were paying so much money, and some of these parents were even bringing milk in, not knowing that that the fee that even includes the milk. So please make sure before you send your child, before you say, oh, this is a nursery I want for my child, please make sure you're asking the right questions, because at the end of the day, you don't want to send your child to a place where they do not care about your child, they're not feeding your child, there's no safety for your child, they do not care about your child development, there's no communication between parents and the key worker or the staff members. So please make sure, if during the day you haven't heard anything about your child, please make sure you contact the nursery and say, please, how's my child doing? What activities have they enjoyed today? Just ring them. Don't be afraid to contact the nursery where your child is. They will, a lot of time, they're more than welcome to tell you, but obviously some staff members are just, you know, it's like they don't want to speak to you. But make sure you're checking on your own child, because if you as a parent do not make an effort to check on your child, no one else will do. Because at the end of the day, you're just going to be paying that setting and thinking they're taking care of your child, but at the end of the day, they don't. Because I've heard so many bad stories of where nurseries do not care about children. You know, parents will bring the children in and they just don't care. And there's been a lot of tragedies that's happened in the nursery as well. So please, my advice as a parent, as somebody that has worked in the nursery, has seen so much happen, neglect, a lot has happened that I've seen, and I wouldn't want your child to go through that. So like I said, these are the questions that you need to be asking. So please do, before you send your child, or you even say, oh, I want this. Also, my other advice would be, please make sure you check multiple nurseries. Don't just go to one nursery and say, oh, this is the one. No, make sure you go to different nurseries, compare them, and then make your final decision. Do never make a decision just by looking at one. No. When I was looking for nursery for my twins, I had to look at different places. I looked at the place where I was working. I looked at the place where I did my placement. I think I looked at 4 places before I said, you know what? This is the place that I want for my child. And I'm glad I sent my twins to where I sent them, because they really looked after my twins. They really looked after their development. And yeah, so please make sure you're doing a research before you send your children to any earlier setting. So yeah, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. As a parent, if you're a new parent, congratulations. If you're expecting parents, good luck. I hope everything goes smoothly with you as well. And when it comes to you making that big decision of sending your child to nursery, please do your research. And as me, I would also advise, it's really important, and if you can keep your children at home and you as a mother look after your child, that is even much better than sending your children to strangers. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next week for another video. Bye, guys.